Right, gonna get these girls on the move. Here they come. Feed quality on there's not too bad, and there's still a wee bit there too, but you can stay there and freshen up for lambs for a while. So today they're going, where are we? See if I can do this backwards because I'm on the wrong camera. Going down through that gate over there, we'll work that out, past the house, around the yards, across the road, and the house, where are we? Over there on the hill, the paddock right beside that. But yeah, get on the move. Oh, there's the last thing going through the gate, so they're going through there, around there, all the way up, through a gate up there and out into that paddock over there. Just had a wee bit of a mishap and yeah, gate under the young grass was open. Thankfully there's no lambs in there, but yeah, chasing back out of there. And Sarah's just up there at the road now, she's just opened the double gates and picking them back. Slim's cruising along behind the ewes, and very shortly they'll be crossing over. And there they go. So now we just sit here and wait. Oh, that's them in there for a while. It's pretty rough in here too. I've had cattle in here and I've had lambs in here for as long as I was game to, but lambs aren't going to do any good on this shit. So cattle probably would have done alright, but we need them cranking. Dogs just had a nice wee swim in the trough. Hey Pearl, have a drink. See, you're right girl. Hey, what do you reckon? Don't have this bloody camera, do you? All quiet. Is that good, is it, girl? Hey? It's pretty bloody warm this afternoon. I don't know, 22, 23 degrees and very warm wind. So, got to be a bit careful with the old dogs. Just don't want to get them too hot. But I've an update on the old Swedes. Looking pretty bloody spectacular from what I say myself. So these are the 15-inch rows. And I'll do what every farmer does and show you the best. I'll show you the outside round. Oh, check that out, would you? Look at that. We're in the middle of February. We've still got March, April, May, so we've still got 3.5 months of growing. They're not halfway yet. That is spectacular, but we better be a bit honest and go in a wee way. So yeah, that was probably like a 12-ton crop we're just looking at over there already, which is ridiculous. It's more than most people used to grow for the whole year, but here's a bit more honesty. So we're out in the middle of the crop now, and yeah, things are still looking good, but not quite that good. We've got some reasonable sized bulbs and some wee fellas, and so we've got this bloody plant here. I'm pretty sure this is wild turnip. We've got the signs on the back of the leaves here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's wee spiky bits down here. They're just evil, and I'm not certain, but I would have thought, see, 1, 2, 3, that it's actually been planted from the bloody seed crop, from the seed that we sowed, which is not ideal. But there's no pods. Any pods on here? Hang on a sec. Yeah, so I couldn't see any seed pods on that one, which is good, but that plant will put out many thousand seeds anyway. Yeah, and they sit in the ground. They're an oily seed. They'll sit in the ground for like 100 years. Horrible bloody things. So we pull them out. We've got a few to get. I won't get them all today, but the next week or so we'll get them all pulled out. And we've just got to keep an eye on it and keep coming back twice a month or so and getting them. take them back and stick them somewhere they're not going to grow and let them rot away. So here we are in the 20-inch rows. They're looking good. Obviously that's a flat square paddock, really nice ground. This is a bit more variable, so we've got areas like this. The bulb size is not bad considering. So what we've got to be mindful of here is these are sown at, so look at that, would you? Out the middle of the paddock. It's a decent sized bulb there for now. So we're not looking too bad. What we've got to be mindful of here is that these are planted at about 80,000 seeds per hectare, and the 15-inch rows are planted at about 105, or 102 it might have been. So these do need to be bigger to get the same yield, but historically they have been. So a little bit of a competition going between the two planters to see who's going to get me the best yield. Yeah, so the tops just aren't as vigorous in here as they were in the other paddock, which is interesting. Not sure what's going on there. I have thought that before though, but like I say, the bulbs are bigger, and with this precision planting, 90% of your yield's in the bulb, so I'm not too worried at the moment about the tops. We'll just see how we go. Nice healthy swede. Let's have a look at the leaves. Just keeping an eye out for any sign of mildew. It's hard to say whether that's the start of it there or not. A little bit sort of dusty. I don't think it is, but it's something we've got to be mindful of. So when it comes to the powder and downy mildew fungus issues, we've only really got one option with the helicopter, which is a product called move.Check, which is actually listed as a foliar ferret. Its primary activity is not a fungicide, but it has this great effect of stopping it in its tracks. Won't cure it, won't get rid of it for you, but it will stop the mildew coming up on any new leaves that are growing up, so you don't lose your crop. Because one year we had it real bad, and I reckon we lost a couple of tonnes of the hectare in about 10 days. They started rotting, they started disappearing, leaves went down, it was horrible. And of course that happened right on Easter, when no one was available to do anything about it. So we're sort of really nervous about being a wee bit proactive with that. You can see there's a wee bit of insect damage there, holes in the leaves. Nothing too serious. A bit of purpling there. I don't remember what that is, so I know it's not good, but I know it's not the end of the world. But for the most part, nice soft supple leaves, little solar panels, growing bulbs underneath, which is good. So I should have plenty of feed from a sheep for winter. So here's another one of these wild turnip plants. Now this one, where did I see that? It's got a couple of pods starting to show up. Here we go. Where are we? This sucker here. Now, each and every one of these wee tips is going to grow a pod. Now you have a look at how many of those are on this plant. Probably 1,000. And inside this pod, hang on a sec, we have these little seeds. And I knocked a few out of there. I think there was about 12 in there. And as that pod keeps growing, it's fatter towards the top, there's more seeds up in there that will develop. And they're, as you can see, they're a real oily, wet little seed. They will dry down, but they'll keep that oil in them, and they just last forever in the soil. So I do presume these are viable, so I'm going to try and not spill any more. See, there's more on that side there. And we're going to get these plants out of the paddock. But this is quite interesting. This is going to be watched very closely over the next week. Very nice supple leaves, but they've got this dustiness to them, and I'm pretty sure that is the beginning of our powdery mildew. So yeah, there we go. There it goes, bitch. I've got the product sitting in the shed. I'm going to send some photos to my ferret rep tonight. Not my ferret rep, sorry, my farming's rep, and see what she thinks, but I'm thinking the chopper's going to be here by the end of the week to do that. Bugger. And here's the maize. Not looking too flash here. The wee fella just come up. Just remember when you're looking here, the guy that planted it for me put it in with sugar beet discs in his planter, and did tell me that it wouldn't be great, and told me I could wait till his corn ones arrived. But I got greedy and said no, I want them in. But so this has been in 6 weeks now, I think. So just ignore the holes. So this is purely a trial this year to see if they'll eat it. I don't know. I know the North Island boys up there have got stunner crops of maize They've had a spectacular season. See a really good one in Southland too this year. But they were sown October, November for harvest. This isn't going to be harvested. This is going to be grazed with the old Swedes right there. Just to try and add a bit of fibre to the diet, to try and remove the need to put baleage on crop. So a lot of people will put baleage out on crop pre-winter, cut the plastic off as the cattle need it, and what I've found with 50 or 60 calves is that just doesn't work, because you can't get the plastic off the bottom of the bale and you lose it, and I hate plastic, so we don't bother with that. But then that means that we have to drive the tractor on the ground over winter, which we do for the sheep, and that's no issue because sheep don't make enough mud to worry about it. But the cattle do, and I'm just sick of it. I'm not liking what we're seeing in our young grass with the cattle we're on crop, so this is a bit of an option to try and change that. So the idea is I'll have a little bit more area. So instead of grazing a 20-ton swede crop and 8-ton of baleage on the crop, they're going to graze a 20-ton swede crop there and a, I don't know, 6 to 10-ton crop of maize, corn, whatever you want to call it, here. We'll still put a bit of baleage on this year because we haven't got enough area here to actually fully supplement. But like I say, this is just an experiment to see if they'll eat it. If it works, I'll do a hectare next year. This is 0.4 of a hectare, about an acre. If it doesn't, we'll try something else. Otherwise, we're going to winter on a pad, which requires consent and a whole lot of headaches. But yeah, I don't know. Is it looking healthy for 6 weeks? Well, I think it's not looking too bad. You have to ignore the grass and a few thistles around because there's a few just there too. When we sprayed the Swedes, I wasn't sure if the Versatile and Sequence were safe for maize, and I think it was like a Sunday that we did it, so I couldn't get a hold of anyone. I've since learned that the Versatile is fine, so we couldn't nuke the thistles, but the Sequence, because maize is a bit of a grass plant, would have nuked the maize. So glad we didn't. But when you see it like that, it's not looking too bad. Like I say, it's only been in 6 weeks. We've still got, I reckon this will grow to middle of April. We don't normally get big frosts here until May, June, maybe even July. We might get a -3 or a -4 at some point in April, but not very common. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping it'll get to sort of this height, maybe 4 or 5 feet. And the population's quite high because we planted at 15-inch rows. I think the population here is like 140,000 seeds per hectare, so it's getting up there from what I understand. But yeah. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time.